Tupelo Smiles is a top-notch group. They're very compassionate about what they do. They've given me the smile that I've always wanted. I've been a patient for 15 years and I wouldn't go anywhere else. I just love Tupelo Smiles.
Being a parent, especially for the first time, with that comes a lot of self-doubt. As a dad, I just try to lead by example. When you're trying to be the best person that you can be, your kids see that and then they emulate that.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, welcome in here to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon, and we'll go ahead and fix that there here in the Room to Room Digital Weather Center on what has been a beautiful day. We anticipate we'll continue to have, I think, some of this dry weather. If it's something you like, and I can call it beautiful, well, we anticipate that we're going to be keeping that around for a little while longer, maybe more than just a little while. Dry conditions, of course, do continue to stick around. As you can see, sunshine there in the background of our camera. Again, appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for the amazing camera network that's going to be so critical during severe weather to tracking storms. Even the bugs enjoying the clear skies and trying to get on TV this evening. Temperature trends are trending cooler through the extended forecast. Even tomorrow morning, we'll have temperatures flirting with the 50s in some spots. We'll look city by city at some of those low temperatures coming up here in a couple minutes. We do have some new developments in the tropics that we are also tracking ahead. Our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, is going to be tracking the tropics with the very latest on where things are kind of developing as we are still coming off the peak of hurricane season, but plenty more to go. It doesn't end until the end of November, so still beginning of October, that's 2 full months. 80 degrees, that temperature at 7 p.m. We're 70 by 10. You can see that's a fairly swift drop off because of the dry air. Dry air allows that temperature to drop more quickly. We're 67, 1 o'clock in the morning, 62 by 4 a.m. to about 59 as we look toward the beginning of early tomorrow morning there. Outside in Amory at this instant, showing up with mostly clear conditions. Looks like that reporting station has decided to take the evening off to try to do something else. Hopefully not everybody has done that watching this, but that's the beauty of Mississippi Live Weather. That phone goes, we go with you and can give you updates there as well. We're going to look at some fire weather here in just a minute, but no issues right now out in the Edinburgh area. 84 current temperature, winds out of mainly an easterly direction, still kind of coming off of the driest air related to Idalia as that continues to work its way out in the Atlantic. Winona coming in with mostly clear skies. And I think part of the color we see in some of these trees has to do with the time of day and that sun angle. But I don't know about you, I've started to notice more and more color in the trees as well recently. But there's something else in the sky that we're looking at right now in Cleveland. And that's a decent amount of smoke. I wasn't going to move the camera around here, but Gabe, I think we probably might behoove us to take a moment to do that. So I'm going to get logged in so we can do that. So here our camera in Cleveland with quite a bit of smoke in and around the region at this time. It's one of a number of locations that we're watching that. So give me just a second here, CL, because I want to kind of pan that over to the right just a little bit to get a look at it, because these smoke plumes are fairly plentiful. Not all of them are of major significance, but this showing again what hopefully is a controlled burn, and certainly one of a number that we've had around the state today. I'll see if I'll pan it down just a little bit, get a better angle here as we're kind of looking this back out toward there, kind of toward the north and east. So a number of these smoke plumes around this evening, and this is typically the time of year where ag producers do like to do some burning from time to time, get things kind of figured out there. So hopefully that's nothing more than just just some smoke from a controlled burn. But there have been a lot of fire starts today. Not a lot showing up on Mississippi Live Weather radar at this point because we're tending to look a little higher with some of those out there in the Delta. We do have some tools here that allow us to look at the fire trackers. And as you can see here, they're not big and not huge, but we do have a couple that have shown up today, including the ones I think that we were looking at there just a moment ago. So you can see Cleveland down there. Looking back toward, some back to the north and east there. We have a couple of back out here toward Jonestown and Sledge there and Marks. Makes me wonder for a second, if we pull up our camera right about there, close to, actually the Shelby camera might have been better. Crenshaw, yeah, on the horizon we do have a little bit of smoke there as well. A moment to kind of swing that one around, CRE. We'll just kind of check and see. So, it's just a reminder that burn bans are in effect for many locations. Our meteorologist Gabe Maynor will look at some of the spots under those at this point here. All of Alabama under kind of a fire advisory because of that. Now, there's another one there as we kind of look toward the south out of the Crenshaw area. And then we're looking through the water tower, I think, to try to catch some of the others there. So try to get these high. And again, appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for allowing us to kind of interrogate the way things are going there in the sky. We'll go and clear that off and come back over here to the other product. Again, we've had some sporadic fire starts. Another one there looks like a Choctaw County, another one Noxubee County, and so a few others out there, I think Holmes County as well. The smoke has kind of lingered from these. As you can see, if you probably noticed maybe a little bit of haze as well out there. That's legit, as we still have kind of this haze and smoke, of course, coming from some more significant fires up there in Canada as well. So all the red dots represent some fires around the region, or at least where we've had some fire starts today. As we bring it back here again, Mississippi Live Weather Radar clear at this point in time. We need some rainfall, and there's just not a whole lot out there in the near term or really the next couple of days. Surface map shows us that, again, it's high pressure that is the story. Rain chances are mainly down closer to the coast, a long ways down to the south. One thing that has kind of changed a little bit the last couple of days when we look at the water vapor, which is kind of the way we can analyze the moisture, is as our tropical systems have worked farther out there into the Atlantic, it's kind of made it to where we don't have quite as effective draw of drier air into our region. And so hopefully that'll start opening the door for the littlest bits of moisture to get closer, but meaningful moisture, significant moisture, long-lasting moisture that'll end a drought. None of those are what we're dealing with. And the latest drought monitor out today, and unfortunately it's been expansion for many folks, though a few spots have seen some improvement. We'll look at that coming up. So generally speaking, high pressure, you can argue there's kind of a high pressure center out here closer to Greensboro there. And so generally that's why we have these easterly winds. That's a direction that obviously is not coming from the Gulf of Mexico. And so that enhances the dry conditions that we still have and kind of keeps them around for the next few days. Though we might see just a slight kick there to a more southerly wind, bringing a little bit of cloud cover up for the first part of your early Friday morning. But any meaningful rainfall, staying in the Gulf, staying out east, and even the stuff we have up there north of Nashville, I wouldn't necessarily call meaningful rainfall or high pressure, largely suppressing that. So somewhere in the neighborhood of around 59 to 60 tomorrow morning for the low temperature. Again, 50 is a little cooler than today, so long sleeves, jackets, maybe for the kids initially if they're out at the bus stop for a while. It'll have a little cool feel to it, especially if you get all the way to that 7-mile-per-hour wind there. We'll go about 66 by 9 o'clock in the morning. Noontime, 79. This is closer to where we should be for this time of year, but that's still 84 degrees. We'll kind of compare that to normal, and we'll look ahead at your forecast for SEC football, brought to you, of course, by Carl Hogan Toyota. Our game of the week brought to you by Casey Lott, and all the latest on that expansion of the drought monitor as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
Get ready for a night of inspiration, laughter, and support. Join us on Saturday, October 4th at 6 p.m. at the Tupelo Cotton Mill, where outstanding men from our community will walk in her shoes. You'll hear powerful stories from survivors and caregivers, enjoy delicious food and drinks, and experience live entertainment in an evening filled with fellowship, fun, and hope. All proceeds go to support those bravely fighting cancer. This event is powered by Wear It Well.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Laupon.
Well, outside in Tupelo this evening, beautiful weather. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Room to Room Weather Center for Mississippi Live Weather at 6 p.m., 82 degrees. And yes, between the shows, my daughter came in. She's like, the playground at Ballard is finally done. Can we go? And I'm bad dad. And I said, no, just basically we're a little too late in the evening for that. But That's something that, yes, Penny, I'm going to put on the list of things to do in the next couple of days. I promise. Folks have been waiting for that to be done for a long time. The weather's going to be great for it. Maybe that's something you work into your weekend plans. It's definitely looking pretty nice out there. A great shot here in and around the Oxford area as well. Our various cameras there with MDOT showing up with what are obviously clear and dry conditions. Looks like that reporting station has taken the evening off as well. It seems like that's happened to a couple of these lately here around our region. I'm going to bring in our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, because one of the other things that we're looking at here, of course, the burn bans that have become, with the dry conditions, of course, the negative that goes along with this transition to fall that we've gone into.
Of course, and I put the Tupelo camera in there for you because that's the one area that's actually under a burn ban here in North Mississippi right now, or should I say the entirety of Lee County. And so there are certain restrictions that apply to specific burns. I believe this is a 1, 3, and 4 burn ban in place right now, but some folks in chat saying, glad we're talking about burns, glad we're talking about those fire conditions right now, because yes, we have one county under those burn bans, but we do expect more to be added over the next coming weeks because of those dry conditions. So yes, technically it is legal to burn if you're not in Lee County. You get those knocked out now, but those conditions just continue to get worse. And so if you're going to burn, I would say now is the best time, because next week it's just going to get worse. The week after going to get worse. And so those dry conditions just make it even more likely for a possible wildfire to take place.
So you mentioned the 1, 2, and 4. So those are the exemptions on it. I'm on the Mississippi Forestry Commission's website here. So the exemptions to the burn ban would be if the Mississippi Forestry Commission has to do something. Let me think. 1, 2, and 4. So certified burn managers. Those are folks that go to school and do this for a living, so understand the dynamics of fires. And then the other exemption would be commercial contractors with heavy equipment, provided that it meets the MDEQ regulations. And so there's some things that go along with that, but that does mean agricultural field burns aren't allowed. County fire services aren't allowed. And of course, those bonfires that so many people like this time of year, unfortunately, aren't allowed. Jeff Davis County down in South Mississippi, the only other one that's under a burn ban, as you kind of alluded to there. But the burn ban for Lee County effect until the 19th. So we will see if they extend it. We need some rainfall. We just haven't had much.
We do, and I added it to the graphic on an earlier show, and it didn't update on this one. But yes, Jefferson Davis down there, I believe it's that Boot Heel looking county down there in southern Mississippi. But that's where our only other county in Mississippi is included with those burn bans. But like Matt was saying, expect more of those to be put in place, or maybe even extended as we head over the next several days. A big reason why it's so dry. I mean, take a look at the drought monitor. Latest one being issued here for North Mississippi came out this morning. We've been talking about it all day long. The differences, or at least the notable differences that we need to discuss, is that level 3 drought now into a little bit of Calhoun County just outside of Bruce, and level 4 drought. Yes, it has left Savannah, Tennessee, but look at where it's coming from now. Down there closer to Tuscaloosa County. So it's going to be pushing into Pickens County, and for folks down there in Noxubee, Lowndes, maybe even there towards Monroe County, we're anticipating extension of that coverage area for some of those level 3 and level 4 drought conditions. So if you're not there yet, definitely possible next Thursday to be in those drought conditions, or at least a little bit in those worst drought conditions by next Thursday. So Mississippi Live Weather Radar, clear skies across the region, at least dry skies right here indicated by our radar. Clear skies indicated with our satellite imagery right here. No cloud in sight. Several of our cameras with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers were showcasing those blue skies. And so if you don't have to work right now and don't have a 6 o'clock show, it should be everybody but Matt and I right now, then go out to the park. Once the show finishes, go out to the park and enjoy a great time, because it is going to be perfect weather for it, and temperatures actually dialing back, so it's going to be a few degrees cooler. As of right now, 84 Houston, 85 Amory, and 81 Hamilton and Red Bay. We jump out west, 87 Clarksdale, 87 Cleveland, and 88 Greenwood and Belzona. So that is slightly cooler than where we've been at the past few days, but luckily, those will continue to be more fall-like as we head into our Friday forecast. Hey, you can't spell football without fall, so it just has to go together. 10 p.m. on your Thursday, dry conditions once again and clear skies sticking around well into our overnight hours. So enjoy it, and hopefully you're in bed by 2 a.m. But if you are still out and about, you're enjoying a great forecast towards your Friday morning commute, not tracking any rainfall, not tracking any fog, nothing to worry about as we head out the door. A little bit of those partly cloudy conditions, Noxubee, Lowndes, and Pickens County, but That's the extent of what we'll see in the sky. Low temperatures, 57 in Bruce, 60 in Grenada, 59 Oxford, and 58 towards Kosciuszko. So when we say it's going to be a cooler start, we're talking about a noticeably cooler start that will definitely need the long sleeves. My wife, the biggest advocate for long sleeves and 50 degrees. Yeah, it rhymed. There we go. We're going to make a t-shirt out of that. But definitely going to be a cooler forecast for the start. So school day, long sleeves possible by the morning commute, but once we get into the day, those temperatures really ramp up and won't need it by the really late morning or really into the early afternoon. 76 around lunch, 83 towards that last bell, plenty of sunshine all day long. So it's just a great day, all things considered. And if you see that right here on Futurecast, you can see how those partly cloudy conditions kind of build in along the Alabama state line, but even those real thin cloud cover, not exactly going to see any impacts from that. Definitely not going to block that sunshine. So just, again, setting the day for a beautiful day, all things considered up there in the sky. That easterly wind still breezy, about 5 to 10 miles an hour, a few gusts around 15, similar to what we've seen so far today. 1:30 on your Friday, still dealing with those partly cloudy conditions, but overall, I mean, it's just going to be a phenomenal forecast. 3 p.m. when that peak heating is taking place, a lot of that cloud cover primarily on the state line. Elsewhere, I-55 west, dry, clear as can be. So enjoy it. And at 6 p.m. on your Friday, if you don't have any plans, well, you do, because you need to go support your local high school team. It's going to be a great Friday night. We're excited to be in Ecru tomorrow night. We're going and watching North Pontotoc versus New Albany. Both teams combined, one loss. I'm thrilled. This should be a great game. Should be a shootout. So I'm excited to get those highlights for you guys. Friday night, 84 New Albany by the afternoon, 82 Boonville. Still tracking around 84 degrees there towards Pontotoc. So if you're joining us in Ecru, still should be a good time. And those temperatures just continue to get better as we get past peak heating and into our evening. 80 around pregame, 71 halftime, and 66 by that final snap. So when we say cool conditions, that's what we're talking about. And trust me, mid-60s will surprise you. It did me last week. And it is a little bit cooler than what you originally expect. So having the long sleeves, you can never be too careful. And so having at least some preparation will definitely do you some justice to stay a little bit warmer on that commute home. Friday evening, still with those dry and clear conditions all football game long, so it should be a great forecast up in the sky. We just need a great game on the football field, but that's up to the players. And they got to show out for your Friday night. Saturday morning, waking up to another day filled with those dry conditions, but cloud cover building in a little bit more, so more partly cloudy conditions for your Saturday, but those start to dissipate out once that sun does rise, and we're heading into the afternoon with mostly clear skies once again. 3 p.m., those continue to last across the region, and as we get into our Saturday evening, once again, going to be a dry and clear forecast. I do want to note that behind me, you might notice a few showers trying to pop up. Not exactly believing or trusting in that just yet because A, our strike model is usually one of our more aggressive models, but B, it's just been a dry forecast. And the times that we have forecasted sprinkles, or at least Futurecast has forecasted it, it's not exactly produced. A lot of that has remained elevated and a lot of that hasn't even really happened at all. So we're not really expecting any showers for your Saturday evening and not into your Sunday morning either. So we are hopeful, maybe we get a sprinkle, but we're not really expecting that. High temperatures on your Saturday, 85 Eupora, Houston, Bruce, 85 Senatobia, and 88 there towards Greenwood. So it is going to be, again, a few steps back from where we sat at this afternoon, but we need it to cool off just a bit. We need that fall-like weather to be in the forecast. Vanderbilt taking on Alabama in Tuscaloosa should be a great forecast for the two ranked teams. 85 first play, cooling off around 81 towards that final snap. You notice game time in the peak heating of the afternoon. So the further that game goes, if there's overtime, then temperatures just get even better. So low 80s, upper 70s as we wrap up that game in Bryant-Denny. Mississippi State traveling over to College Station to take on Texas A&M. 87 first play, 85 halftime, and 80 by that final snap. One note I will say is this is a point forecast. This is specifically for College Station in Texas. Earlier on at 5 o'clock, we're showing 90 degrees, already taking a step back and talking about 87 for that first play. So trending in the right direction, if you ask me. So if you're traveling out there to represent those cowbells, well, it's going to be sorry, I thought I heard it in my ear for a second. But if you're traveling out to represent those cowbells, then you'll be enjoying a good forecast, all things considered. So rep the true maroon and white, right? All Bulldogs out there understand. High temperatures, mid to upper 80s over the next few days. We're definitely going to drop as we head into our Friday and Saturday with 84 and 85 degrees. But then it becomes relatively consistent until late next week. And you might notice that we drop to around 80 degrees Our low temperatures following that same trend. Is that a little taste of fall? I think we're trending that way. And that extended forecast dropping into the upper 50s Friday and Saturday, but then climbing back as we head into early next week. That's due to that moisture that's in the area with some of those pop-up showers that we'll see in just a moment. Going to keep our temperatures from cooling off too much, so 67 degrees for the start of the week. But once those showers clear out, take a look at the drop, 66 down to 61, and that'll continue to take place in that extended forecast next weekend where we could be talking about high temperatures only in the upper 70s. That is a realistic possibility. So your day planner on your Friday, 59 degrees to start. Again, a cooler start to the day. 79 by noon, and then 84 towards the afternoon, still with plenty of sunshine. Saturday, 6 with that mostly sunny forecast, 85 degrees. And then as we get towards Sunday, that's where those low temperatures will start to trend a bit warmer, 58 up to 64, all the way up to 67 by Monday and Tuesday. But those 20% chances, a big driver in that forecast. So that's one of the things we'll need to take note of as we head into next week is the chance at a few pop-up showers. But the end of next week definitely looking like it will be a few degrees cooler, albeit still above average, but at least not 90 degrees like we had this week. So something we're excited about in that forecast. But where we're also seeing action is out in the Atlantic right now with the tropics. And that's one of the things we'll take a look at here on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Coming up in the next 60 is the latest on Imelda and also the latest on some new disturbances that could produce some tropical developments later on. Some of those possibly having impacts here in North Mississippi. We'll look at that in more detail coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6, live from the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60.
This roof's getting installed with our premium roofing system. Backed by our 50-year warranty, and there's a 0% financing, no payment for 6 months options that this customer utilized. If you're looking for a new roof and you need an affordable option, call Absolute Restoration.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.
So the tropics becoming more active, as Gabe was talking about before the commercial break here. Maybe not more active. That's probably overstating it, considering we had 2 hurricanes side by side a couple of days ago. But this is the time of year where we are tracking multiple areas of disturbed weather. Of course, Adelia there moving away, and that's one of the things, obviously, Gabe, that we are watching. Obviously, as we toss it to you, we approach the peak of hurricane season once we get to really. The first week of September, 10 days into September, we're now on October 2nd, on the downhill, but still some areas we're watching.
Yeah, hurricane season lasts till when? Like mid-November, right?
End of November, last day of November is the last day of hurricane season.
So even more opportunity then. But yeah, we're tracking those double hurricanes that we had earlier on this week, what's left of them. Imelda, again, extending over there in the northern Atlantic. But we are watching more disturbances that are over here closer to home, or at least the potential to be closer to home. And that's one of the things we'll be tracking here in just a moment. I want to say, Matt, you kind of set the scene with bringing the suspenders out. As we're talking about tropical weather, you got goosebumps on me because it's like, oh man, are we talking about something significant? And I knew what the forecast was. So you kind of juked me on that a little bit.
High enough here. The computers have made the room warm. That's it.
Understandable.
So you can say cool weather is here all you want to, at least inside. Yeah, this is actually that time of year that's harder because it's like, does the air conditioner need to be on as long? We get that time of year, we can switch it off for a little while.
Exactly. It's a tale of 2 forecasts. One in the morning and one in the afternoon. One's cooler and one's warmer. So completely understand that. And computer's adding its own heating mechanism. So when it comes January and you need a place to warm up, well, hey, come to the Room to Room Weather Center, I guess. But yeah, water vapor imagery showcasing Imelda moving there in the Atlantic, but we are watching a lot of moisture out there just on the east side of Florida. That's our latest disturbance, but let's go ahead and track out what's left of Imelda. As you can see, about 75 miles an hour as of Thursday morning, still keeping that same strength as we head into our Thursday evening. That 10 a.m. advisory, about 75 mile an hour on those winds at 980 millibars at that pressure level on the center of that storm. As you can see, it starts to take a more northerly approach before transitioning to a tropical storm Friday morning. morning. And as it moves up there towards the northern Atlantic, will start to diminish on out as it heads towards Ireland. Yes, that's as far as this is traveling. So fortunately for us, we never saw direct impacts from Imelda. A few of those possible rip currents and larger waves out there in Florida and for coastal regions in Georgia around Savannah. It was possible, but not exactly a direct hit. And I think that we've been staying away from any direct hits so far this year. And that's a definitely a fortunate thing that I will knock on wood to hopefully that lasts. 10% chance next 2 days and 10% over the next 7. This is that disturbance we're watching off the coast of Florida, the Atlantic coast of Florida, should I say, moving in that northwest track. And that's one of the things that we've been looking at over the last several days, and we'll take a look at again. But that's been that tropical wave that's going to bring in a few bands of possible showers early next week. That's where those rain chances are coming from, is this system right here. Of course, our long track models had been forecasting that, so just trying to get more verification. Do we think it's going to be a tropical storm? No. Do we think it's going to be a tropical depression? Honestly, that seems a little bit out of the picture. What this will be is just an area that kind of wraps around some of that moisture there into Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia and Florida, and bring with it some supplemental moisture that we so desperately need. So the potential is definitely there for that system to maybe even have increased rain chances if that path were to shift a little bit more towards the west. Our next disturbance that we're watching out there in the southern Atlantic has a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days, 0% over the next 2. So this is very, very early in the life cycle of that tropical development, but definitely keeping an eye on this storm, but we're really not going to see any development from it until post 7 days. So a long ways away before we see that develop into anything too significant. Let's keep our eye on, well, of course, Imelda moving up there towards the northeast, but on this tropical disturbance down there around Florida. As you can see, starting to wrap around just a bit more. This is on your Saturday evening, so meteorologist Caleb Edelblut will have a lot to talk about Saturday evening as well. But a few of those, I mean, getting some decent rainfall totals, but those bands, I mean, you can just see there's that center, should I say. This is a very disorganized storm, but wrapping it around in this counterclockwise motion, and some of those reds and yellows, which indicates some lift or indicate some of those isolated showers popping up, starting to move there into Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana. So it is a realistic possibility that we get some pop-up showers as we head into our Sunday night, but Monday really going to be our focal point as we start to drive in some of those showers there. Right now, still very isolated, but hopeful that this can trend a little bit more west and bring us some increased rain chances there by our Monday afternoon. Now, moving more into Tuesday, you can see that the chances are still linger in our forecast, but there's something else we need to look at in regards to that our upper level analysis. And as you can see right here, we start to get a trough that develops, which would be a low pressure system that develops right here and has that front extending off of it. So as we wrap up our rain chances and we wrap up that tropical disturbance, this frontal boundary that starts to develop right there in our jet stream will start to push in a little bit more of that cooler and drier air once again, dropping our temperatures. I'm not saying a significant drop off, but might make it feel a little bit more around what we should be at this time of year. And so we're hopeful that that will continue to verify, but keeping eyes on this system as it moves across the northeast United States and then brings in some of that drier air as that ridging pattern returns right there. As you can see, kind of that arch shape from Los Angeles all the way to Dallas, pushing more into Mississippi, and that'll be high pressure and some drier air. So watching that, a lot to look at on this graphic right here, but we've been tracking this over the last several days, and we're hopeful that that will continue to verify as we head into that extended forecast, talking well into next Friday's football forecast and next Saturday or next weekend's forecast as well. But Matt, let's stay on this Friday. And this Friday, I know we have our football games, and I see that you have it pulled up over there. Do we have an update on the voting? Has it gone up since we talked at 5?
Well, yes, the votes continue on our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott, the band and cheerleaders of the week here. Those votes still coming in, 665 at this point here for the Vikings there of North Pontotoc as far as the band is concerned. I'll see if we can advance that over there. And 823 for New Albany. Clearly New Albany, hold on a second here. Man, New Albany went and voted between shows there. Definitely know we got a lot of folks. Go ahead.
I just said you woke them up. They just needed that reminder.
Apparently. Hold on. Let me click refresh, make sure we are all up to date on numbers here on the cheer of the week. And so we're looking at about 840 there for the Spirit Squad there from New Albany, and 837 from North Pontotoc. So just to hit those numbers again, 837 from North Pontotoc and 840. That's a difference of 3 votes right now between the two Spirit Squads from our 2 Game of the Week locations. So excited that. And again, appreciate the good folks at Langston Lott for sponsoring us. I'm going to check on Instagram. When it's that close, you got to hit the Instagram, because I know, of course, the kids love the Insta. So let's, I say that like we don't.
I do my scrolling for sure.
Huh?
I said I do my scrolling for sure to pass time.
Yeah, the difference is a little bit greater. It looks like, hold on, I'm just going to double check to make sure that this is all 100% up to date on Instagram. There, so 158 for North Pontotoc, 222, 221 on Instagram. So it looks like definitely the North Pontotoc is ahead there. Excuse me, New Albany's ahead. And then New Albany's also ahead on Band of the Week. So it's still anybody's game. A couple hundred is not a big difference when we start talking about these kind of schools. I mean, get your family, get your friends. Just search for Matt on TV or Matt Lawpon on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way to go ahead and get those votes in. But a lot of folks doing that this evening, Gabe, still. And our voting cuts off at the end of our 6 o'clock broadcast tomorrow. So probably about this time. So 24 hours. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, let me say recruiting tactics to get some votes, because we've started to get some tactics over the weeks, and we've learned a couple things. Recruit the rival school. So New Albany, reach out to South Pontotoc and see if they want to put in some votes against North Pontotoc. And I don't know New Albany's rival. I'm a bad Union County person right now.
Well, I mean, it's those intra-county rivalries are always significant. Sure. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of.
That's one way to get it. And of course, sharing to family. I remember one game we went to, who was that? It wasn't South Pontotoc, but someone was saying that, I think it was Baldwin was saying that we were getting votes from Tennessee. And so you can go nationally.
Like Houston, Texas, I think on that one, they were well outside the area.
So there you go. There's our we'll throw some hints out there. You guys can choose whether to take them or not, but there's your lobs.
Yeah, absolutely. So get those votes in. Hey, speaking of sports, by the way, Gabe, our Will Kohlmeyer is down in Starkville this evening. It's the Egg Bowl of soccer going on there. He's calling that, I believe, for SEC Network. And so he is going to be sending us back a little information on that for 10 o'clock. So we will have that little sports nugget there coming up at 10 o'clock. Excited to have Will. He is going to be, again, reporting back on our games of the week tomorrow. We're excited. He's going to at least feature some analysis of a few other games that were of great interest to folks at home and runner-up as far as that's concerned. So we'll, of course, have that tomorrow, and just glad to have him part of our Mississippi Live Weather family.
Yeah, excited about Kohlmeyer's Corner. It's always something I look forward to on those Friday nights. So, and I'm curious to see who he picks for this game, because when you talk about a one-loss combined matchup between the two teams, and I mean, these are two teams that could possibly go far in the state tournament. I mean, I'm excited to see what Kohlmeyer has to say.
Yeah, it's going to be a big game. So we're kind of excited. I guess I can preview a little one of the nuggets as far as that is concerned. Let me scroll down here, and it'll take me a second to reroute what's in here. I think I can do that. Learning what we can do on the fly, right?
Give your take on it.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing that's so crazy about it, is just how close this game is, right? Because you have two teams separated by one loss, but you start looking at the other details for this, and it's actually considerably closer than that. So hold on a second here. Let me pull this up, see if I'm routed into that correctly. I think I am. So let's go ahead and take that graphic here for a moment. Okay, so this is kind of the rundown on this. I went Biggersville Baldwin. I chose the wrong one. Oh, that's right. It's the second one, and I'm going to have to change that. Okay, well, I'll pop that up here in a second, Gabe.
A little other preview
why you don't
you just threw out there.
That's why you don't direct this on the fly, because you'll mess stuff up.
Did that say Baldwin was undefeated?
Yes, and you know how close that game was when we are up there. But you're also talking about a reigning champion, so that's
it's expected.
It is. One of the things that is interesting about this game now that I've kind of got this up here, and I'll kind of merge this in. My mic's still up on this. Okay. Is the fact that, you have one loss team there in New Albany, but they're the ranked team of the two there. But look at the difference there. And this is why it's really going to kind of straighten things out. Of course, these are opponents that are close by there, but 45.2 points per game there for New Albany, 2.3 for North Pontotoc. So the yards per game are on New Albany's side. It's going to be a great matchup. And we're excited to be there for our high school game of the week presented by Casey Lott. And appreciate them for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. But yeah, it's a tight matchup. We'll see. You know, do the pundits to have them ranked as number 7 no better on North Pont, who's bogged down that game.
What I'm sure the highlights at 10.
Tons of offense.
Oh my word, 450 yards. Yeah, I think I can take about 100 of those and make something with this. So it's all I ask, New Albany. And then same thing for you, North Pontotoc. I need equal treatment for both sides. But I was going to say something about New Albany. Maybe we'll find out at 10 what was in my brain a second ago. Because
absolutely, we'll see World Sports. We'll have that at 10 o'clock. Of course, the latest on this fire weather that's building into the area, and you know that's one of the unfortunate things with dry weather. That's where this goes. So again, one more time, our high school game of the week: 80-degree pregame temperature. Learn from our mistakes last week. As meteorologists, as you can see, we'll be in the mid-60s by the conclusion. Enough of a breeze. It's going to be a little chilly out there. So long layers, long sleeves, or at least in a jacket you put on, and long pants, definitely necessary to keep you warm enough to enjoy this one. We're excited there, be in New Albany, take selfies, do the whole thing. Our next live broadcast tonight is going to be at 10 o'clock here from the Room to Room Weather Center on Mississippi Live Weather. Love to see you then. And again, tomorrow morning, our Maggie McCauley, 6:30, 7:30 a.m. There has been a new update of the app that has dropped. Before we go, I probably should mention that there, and we're excited to be able to kind of bring that. This should bring some efficiencies that hopefully are going to be useful to a lot of folks. I'll kind of bring it back over here to pop that up here for a second. So again, updated and better than ever. The Mississippi Live Weather app, free as it always has been and always will be, and available for all those different devices. But it is the Apple app in particular that has been updated. So search for Mississippi Live if you don't have it, Mississippi Live in the Apple App Store. We think this is, again, gradually getting more and more efficient on battery life in particular. And as we talked about earlier this week on the social medias, this thing's big. Let me go back here for a moment. I want to show you something that goes back to last weekend. So you have to give me a moment here to kind of scroll back through all the different things that we've had on Facebook, which clearly there's been quite a bit. But I want to show you something that some church members, and I think Gabe probably hopefully saw this over the weekend. I know a lot of people did. This video here, I want to pop this up. And this is where the app is so critical. I'm going to see if I can mute that audio. There we go. This app here, that white Jeep you see there, the people who were using the app, visiting not Niagara Falls, but instead the Grand Canyon, flash flood warning comes out and the app tells them they need to get going. They had 3 minutes. They got to higher ground, and you can see what the results were. The Jeep ended up making it. It was just barely in the right spot. But again, a matter of 20, 30 feet would have been the difference between potentially life and death. So that's how important, and how it's important to be timely in your response to any of these. That's the Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available for all those different devices. Yeah, appreciate Joanne. She shared that, sent us, the direct messages. We know her. One of her son's friends actually helped us do our training here at Mississippi Live Weather as well. So it's interested how what we're doing for people at home, it's all kind of interconnected. That's why we're glad you're supporting us so much. Another option for that, of course, is Weather Call. There is a charge with Weather Call. It is a phone call, so you can't miss the alerts. And we are working to hopefully get that alert tone tweaked so that it is something that sounds different than, as I told my vendor earlier this week, I was like, I need a noise that sounds different than a GroupMe or something else that goes off nonstop. They're working on it. We're evolving. And so that will help. But for $15 a year, you get a phone call, and there's no question. You look at caller ID, it says, hey, that's Matt Lawpon. He's calling, and he's to say that we need to get to our safe place. So we call you for tornadoes, call you back when the tornado is confirmed, for severe storms, flooding, all that different stuff. Mississippi Live weather app is where we have all the alerts. But for flash flooding, for tornadoes, for severe thunderstorms, you want weather calls so that there's no question, there's no delay, and you can keep you and your family safe. Okay, next broadcast is again coming up tonight here for live from the Room to Room Weather Center at 10 p.m. We'll love to see you then. Looking ahead at our weekend forecast, and Gabe's got all the details coming up. We'll see you at 10.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
'Cause in a